We can do this one. So yeah, let's go ahead. For today, we're going to talk about Marshall County, named after, and they say he's a general on here. I mean, and he was in the state militia, General Francis J. Marshall. Before I go much further, the people of Marysville, which is the largest center in Marshall County, did just suffer a tornado this last weekend. It was an F1. Luckily, there have been no reported injuries. As always, if you want to help out with any of that kind of stuff, the American Red Cross is a great place to go to get help. Let's talk about Frank, though. So, Frank Marshall was from Missouri, and he saw a business opportunity for travelers on the Oregon Trail to Kansas. So much so that he moves to an area called near the Blue Rapids area, and he establishes a crossing. He runs a ferry and does other stuff and makes a pretty good profit doing that. It only comes to Kansas like 3 months out of the year that the river is big enough that they actually need to ford it with a ferry, because the rest of the year you can just kind of like walk across it. But there's like 3 weeks when there's heavy rains where they actually need to have a ferry's portage and get everything over. Now, being from Missouri, Marshall was pro-slavery. In fact, he's going to be a member of the pro-slavery bogus legislature that's appointed to Kansas in the 1850s. It's one of the first legislatures that Kansas elected. So this website that I actually just found today, called kansasboguslegislature.com, has a lot of great information about the people who made up the bogus legislature. It looks like it was managed by a gentleman by the name of Charles Clark, because down here he actually signs his name right there, Charles Clark. If you know anything about this website or about the guy who made it, give me that information, because that'd be really cool. All right, back to the county. So Marshall becomes a member of the bogus legislature. He's actually appointed a judge of his own election that he is running in, and he's the one who gets to determine who the winner is, which is like super corrupt, which was why we don't allow that today. But anyways, because of his positions and because of the power and authority, he's able to rise up through the ranks, and he has a little bit of money from his ferry business. He is able to become a prominent pro-slavery member of the Kansas legislature, so much so that he is put in charge of the Kansas militia and named a general of the Kansas militia. Marshall goes on to be in charge of troops that hold free slavery settlers captive and arrest them in Douglas County. He stays in Douglas County longer than he's supposed to. Eventually, he runs for governor, and he loses by like 50 votes, same amount of votes that lost the Lecompton Constitution. So that's why he kind of decides, you know what, I'm leaving the state. So in 1859, Marshall leaves the state. He goes to California, he goes to Colorado, to work in the gold mines in those areas, and that's who Marshall County is named after. So Frank J. Marshall, General Frank J. Marshall, General of the Kansas Militia, pro-slavery, and namesake of Marshall County. There we go. Got another one down. We still got a lot to go.